My friend Mark throws the same Halloween party every year. It's a tradition. His house is perfect for it. A little old, a little creaky, and just big enough to feel crowded and chaotic in a fun way. Last year was no different. The music was loud, everyone was in costume, and the vibe was exactly what you'd want from a party in late October. I was dressed as some generic 80s slasher victim, and my girlfriend Chloe was a vampire. We were a few drinks in, laughing with friends in the kitchen, just having a good time. It was probably around 11 p.m. when I first noticed him. The living room was packed, a sea of zombies, witches, and movie characters. But my eyes landed on a figure standing in the far corner, almost hidden behind a floor lamp. The costume was strange. It wasn't flashy or gory, just odd. He was wearing a long, dark, heavy-looking coat and a bizarre bird-like mask from centuries ago, the kind you see in old paintings of the plague. It was stark white, with a long, curved beak and black, soulless circles for eyes. What struck me wasn't just the costume, but his stillness. In a room full of dancing and shouting people, he was perfectly, unnaturally motionless. I pointed him out to Chloe. "Check out that guy," I said over the music. "He's really committed to the bit." She followed my gaze and shivered. "That's creepy," she said. "He hasn't moved at all." We watched him for a few minutes. People would bump into him, jostle past him, and he wouldn't so much as flinch. He just stood there, a silent statue in the corner, his masked face pointed vaguely toward the center of the room. A cold feeling started to creep up my spine, a little knot of unease that had nothing to do with the cheap horror decorations. After another hour, the unease turned into genuine curiosity. I'd kept an eye on him, and he had not moved, not once. I finally pushed my way through the crowd to find Mark. He was by the drink station, looking flushed and happy. "Hey, man, great party," I started. "Quick question. Who's your friend in the plague doctor getup? His dedication is insane." Mark grinned. "Dude, I have no idea. Someone's +1 probably. Why?" I explained that the guy hadn't budged for over an hour. Mark's grin faded. He peered across the room, his eyes finding the figure. "Seriously? That's weird." He shrugged it off, but I could tell it had planted a seed of discomfort in him, too. As the night wound down and people started to leave, the living room slowly emptied out. Soon it was just me, Chloe, Mark, and a couple of other close friends. And the figure in the corner. With the music off and the room quiet, his presence felt 100 times more menacing. We were all just staring at him now, the silence thick with a shared, unspoken dread. "Okay, this isn't funny anymore," Mark said, his voice low. He took a hesitant step forward. "Hey man, party's over." There was no response. The masked head didn't turn. The figure didn't move. And then it did. With a slow, fluid motion that felt completely wrong, it turned its head until the blank black eyes of the mask were fixed directly on us. A collective chill went through the room. No one breathed. It held its gaze for a long, terrifying second before turning away and walking toward the front door. It didn't walk like a person. It glided, its feet making no sound on the hardwood floor. We watched, frozen, as it reached the door and just vanished from sight into the entryway. After a few seconds of stunned silence, Mark finally snapped out of it. "What the hell was that?" he muttered, heading for the door. "Hey, you can't just leave without—" He stopped. He grabbed the doorknob and rattled it. It was locked. He frowned, then reached for the deadbolt above it. His fingers brushed against the latch and his face went pale. He turned back to us, his eyes wide with disbelief. "It's bolted," he whispered, "from the inside." We all just stood there, staring at the door he'd just locked hours ago, the silence of the house suddenly feeling heavy and suffocating. We never found out who or what that was, but the image of that silent figure is something I'll never forget. And I can't shake the feeling that whatever was in that corner with us didn't need a door to leave.